Engaging turn-based gameplay, familiar RPG elements, absolutely stunning pixel art, fantasy Zootopia vibes. This is Terra Memoria. Welcome to the 20-Minute Gamer channel. I am your host, Nick, and we're jumping into another review in our Will It 20-Minute segment. Obviously, the Will It 20 Minutes are reviews of games where I kind of dig into them, I play them for a while, and I dig into them, and I try and relay, is this a 20-minute game? Now, what is a 20-minute game? We ask ourselves that a lot. Everyone's like, hey, we've been playing this game for 30 minutes. That's not a 20-minute game. A 20-minute game is a phrase I believe I coined. I don't know if I coined it, but I'm looking for games. A 20-minute game to me is a game that I can jump in 20 minutes, play, and feel accomplished. Maybe I can jump in for 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes. All I've got is 5 minutes. I'm jumping into Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I can play that game for 7 minutes, get out, and actually have accomplished something in that game. I can jump into Division 2 for 10 minutes and play that game and come out having accomplished something, even if it's just scavenging gear or shooting a couple of bad guys, right? Well, I've been playing Terra Memoria now for about a week, and I've logged a couple of hours into the game already. I've got to say, this game is a breath of fresh air. All right, listen to me. Terra Memoria follows an all too familiar story of a team of ragtag misfits joining together to venture forth on a journey. Mashed together, it screams Fellowship of the Ring. A journey that should and could save the very fabric of society. Now, without any serious story spoilers, the story is woven around the need for more crystals. Society is in uproar. Crystals, these crystals power everything from magic to elevators to vehicles to farms, everything. And they're running out. We're running out of these crystals. Mines are running dry, if not already empty. And your group has been volunteered to find out why. Overall, the story feels really, really good. I mean, it is a little recycled in some ways, but the game makes up for it in the gameplay and the way those story elements are delivered. I said it before, I'll say it again. Everything about this game is just, it's a breath of fresh air. It's a really, really clean title. Now, Terra Memoria has some absolutely stunning art, all right? It falls into that pixel art category, meshed with almost a sort of like tilt shift photography focus point as well. It's absolutely beautiful. I know that sounds silly coming from a pixel art style graphics based. I mean, how beautiful can it be when it's 32-bit, 64-bit pixel? Well, believe me, when I saw the animations and when I saw how you moved around with the characters, you get a real sense of nostalgia with the imagery, the way the characters move, and the overall design. It shows possible inspiration from titles like Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy Tactics, Octopath Traveler, Xenogears. The pixel art is just very, very clean, very crisp. There's no stuttering, there's no tearing, and I know you'd expect the game to be optimized. I mean, it's not graphically dependent. It is very optimized. It's fantastic to play. I haven't had a single stutter at all in the entirety of playing this game. Now during the tutorial, they do kind of mention as well that it's best played with a controller. I agree wholeheartedly. I played it on keyboard. I played it with controller, and the controller just feels a little bit more natural. All right. Now, there aren't that many moving pieces regarding walking around, regarding combat. So if you only have a mouse and keyboard, I don't think you're going to have a problem. All right. There are some games where I jump into them and it's like, hey, listen, you need a controller for this. Midnight Fight Express is a great title of a game where they recommend a controller. I played it on keyboard, and after about 15 minutes playing Midnight Fight Express, I was on Amazon and I was finding a controller for dirt cheap because I could not play it. I was going to my local Target, my local Walmart, trying to find a controller. Terra Memoria is not like that, okay? Trust me. If you only have a keyboard and mouse, you're going to be okay. The game plays at a very comfortable pace, all right? And I can't think of a time where I was so overwhelmed with the experience that I absolutely needed buttons at my fingertips for those split-second reactions, right? If you don't have a controller, it's going to be fine. Shouldn't be a problem. Terra Memoria's combat is more simplified than other games of this nature, all right? But not in a bad way, okay? It's very, very fun and extremely satisfying. From the selection of the spells that you use, to the spells being used themselves, to the way that the damage is calculated and the numbers present themselves on the screen. Just from point A all the way down to point Z, it is very, very good. All right, I really enjoy it. Terra opts out of your more traditional mana-powered spellcasters. Your mages aren't limited. All right, they're not limited to having a certain pool of mana to cast a spell, or they need to do something in order to cast another spell. Your team performs their skills and actions free of charge, but they're going to be set in a tactics-based format, right? Where the user, you need to make the smart choice on which unit carries the greatest risk and should be attacked first, which one should be eliminated first, okay? You get one attack per character. I don't want to say per turn. Your turns are linear, okay? The turn cycle doesn't really seem to like end, okay? So because it doesn't end, it's like as you take a turn, you just can't do anything for 5 turns, right? But initiative is rolled differently. I'll try and explain it here as you see it on the screen. So you can see, like, when you perform a task, it tells you how long you have until you can take a turn again. Now, based on that, it's not that like someone moves on turn 1, then turn 2, then turn 3. Someone could move on turn 1 and then they don't move again until turn 4. Now, nothing may happen in turn 2 and turn 3, so you just go from turn 1 to turn 4, okay? But it tells you how much time must elapse before your character can take a turn again based on the spell difficulty or the spell power that they've utilized, okay? Each enemy presents their weaknesses off to the side of their name. You can see right here, okay? There's the weaknesses and the armor, okay? If your mage has the correct elemental spell and it's used against the creature, you're going to gain a damage modifier to that attack. Armor is shed in combat. When it reaches 0, those elemental weaknesses basically go away, all right? There's no longer weakness to one thing or two things. You're weak against everything. Any attack works. So you could have some creatures that aren't weak to lightning, but maybe your single lightning spell does a massive amount of damage, all right? Well, now they're weak to every type of spell that you can cast, and that high damage spell that wasn't working as effectively previously is now going to do an exorbitant amount of damage, all right? The other thing that this game implements is that you have 3 damage dealers and you have 3 support members, all right? So you have 6 people on your team total, all right? The 3 support members don't actually do anything, but what you will do is you'll go into your settings and you will select what character you want your team to be balanced with, all right? So I have mine personally balanced where I try to have 1 support character with each of the 3 mages. Once the combat starts, the system will cycle through one of those choices and it will bring it to the front. As you can see here, there's a handful of ways that you can set your team up. You don't have to do it the way that I did it. You have the option. You have the option of setting it up how it's comfortable for you and based on the experience that you have with the support characters being paired with the mages. The support characters offer different support based on what they do, right? For example, when you're paired with Edson, Edson will take a spell that does damage to everybody on the field. He will single out that spell so that it can only be used on one person. Well, that's really, really nice. When I have Moshang who does a lightning spell for 50 points, across 3 people, right? Edson paired with Mo Shang is going to take that lightning spell. He's going to make it so it's only used on one person, and spells that are used on one person do more damage than spells that are used on multiples. This carries over for healing. This carries over for just overall damage, okay? So the support characters are extremely important with how they're paired, okay? So you can do all of that in the group composition, all right? It's a great feature. I love how they worked it in there, and it allows you to find out what characters you feel benefit more from the specific support set, the support sets that Alto, Edson, and Opal offer, all right? Play around with it. I mean, that option offers a different depth into the game that you don't really get in RPGs like this. So it's very welcomed. It offers a different depth to the game in regards to playability. So another fun aspect of the game are they have these, they have mini games, they have crafting, and they have forging, all right? So when you actually get to rest your team, you get to eat food, which basically amps up your team. It boosts your hit points. Terra tries to include you in this process by offering you a little mini game, right? Where you must punch in the correct code or sequence in a sort of like Guitar Hero, Dance Hero, Helldiver stratagem way, okay? Now, initially I was a little caught off guard the first time I played it. I screwed up a couple of times. I started then thinking, you know, like the chef in me started thinking, I think it might be funny if as you mess up the sequence, you begin to burn the food or undercook the food. You know, maybe if it's perfect, you get 6 extra health. Maybe if it's bad, you only get 1 extra health. I don't know. I'm just thinking so far out the box on a game that isn't that overly complicated. And I think that if that existed, it might maybe turn people away who maybe aren't Johnny on the spot with controls. But it doesn't matter if you mess anything up. You get the option to do it all again, all right? It just kind of adds to the personalization of your team. It humanizes them, right? Because they're the ones cooking, they're the ones eating the food, and you're cooking them good food. And you know, other games have done this too. You know, I think of War Tales. War Tales comes to mind, where you have meals that offer better travel speed, quicker initiative on combat, better attack bonuses. It's a nice touch. It's another layer in that onion that is Terra Memoria. Now, the last thing I want to add is also, I mentioned the crafting and forging. Well, there's going to be moments where crafting is enabled, and you have this like mini quest, this side quest is created. Your first glimpse into this is right in the beginning. Mo Shang is basically asked to repair a barricade. So you have to go to this bench, you have to get the wood, you have to get the boards and all of that. You have to actually craft the barricade, and then you have to lay the barricade down, right? I found another experience a little later on at like 2 hours into the title. You have to remove these tracks in a town by the name of Chalk, and you have to reroute this train. So once again, it flips over to the crafting, to the building sequence, and you basically have to go through and remove all the track. Once you've removed it all, the track is put into your inventory. Once the track is put into your inventory, you're then able to lay it down where the game asks you to lay it down for the betterment of the train, okay? So it's a nice little feature. In regards to forging, Opal, she's a blacksmith, all right? So once she joins your team, you get the ability to forge pins. We'll take a look at pins just like real quick here, but basically pins are buffs, all right? They are buffs, they're amulets that your team wears. They're pins that your team wears, okay? And they add benefits to your speed, to your attack, to your lightning spells. I've got Syl with a pin right now that enhances wind, okay? Well, duh. I mean, she does tornado attacks. I want her to have an enhancement to wind right now. Mo Shang, I mean, he does a lot of damage, so he's kind of my biggest damage dealer. So I want him to have a pin that does additional damage. Now, the only people that get access to pins are Mo Shang, Syl, and Meta. Alto, Edson, and Opal, because they're just support characters, they're not technically out in the field. They don't need access to what it is that the pins offer, okay? So they don't need extra power. They don't need... giving Opal more speed isn't going to help her manufacture a pin more quickly. So, yeah. It is what it is. Now, all in all, kind of coming to a close here, Terra Memoria is a very, very fun game. I've enjoyed every aspect of it. Now, is it a 20-minute game? You know, I think Terra Memoria kind of teeters on the line of being a 20-minute game. My first go-round, I played it for about an hour before realizing that I'd been playing for an hour. So it definitely sucks you in. It definitely sucks you in, and there is engagement there, right? I mean, obviously the whole foundation of a 20-minute game is that it's engaging gameplay for the player. I don't want to play a game where I'm only watching cutscenes. You know, an hour's worth of cutscenes and 2 minutes worth of gameplay doesn't do it for me. If I want to watch a movie, I'll throw on Netflix or HBO Max. You know, I'll watch some Harry Potter. But this game really does a great job of balancing the story-based elements and then balancing the combat or gameplay-focused elements as well. I definitely think it houses a good 20-minute game. The other thing is that you seem to be able to save. Now, I'm playing this on PC. I believe this is also on a couple other consoles, Switch as well. But as a PC player, I'm able to save whenever I want. So for being a PC gamer, that helps. If I do get into something, I can go ahead and save immediately, and I can bounce, and I can go help my wife or help my son with whatever they need. The other aspect is that on the controller, I can hold down the right trigger, and the right trigger is going to speed through everything. So if I'm just kind of looking for the meat and potatoes of the game and don't really care about the story, you can hold down that right trigger, and you are just going to speed past all of that dialogue, all right? And then at the very end of it, if there's a quest or something that's associated with what you've just seen, a notification is going to pop up, and it's going to tell you, hey, listen, you just talked to this person, here's the quest, here's what you need to do, and, you know, Bob's your uncle, you're good to go. So yeah, I definitely think this is a good 20-minute game. Like I said, I've really enjoyed this title. I'm gonna probably keep playing it. I know I kind of get these copies of games. Sometimes I jump into them for the review, just kind of give the developer the opportunity to have more real estate, more footage out there regarding their title, reviews, good feedback. Overall, this title is really, really amazing. I personally was wowed by the art initially. I keep going back to that, but the art absolutely blew me away. I just really, really like it. I don't know what it is. It seems simple, right? Like, it seems simple. It's just pixel art, but it's so beautiful, man. I'm telling you, it is so nice. That's all I got today. Listen, everybody, I appreciate you for joining me. Once again, like I said, details are in the description, okay? Down below, there is a link as well. That is an affiliate link. I got that from the developer, so that is an affiliate link that'll take you to Steam. I appreciate you joining me on this one. Drop a like, drop some comments. Let me know, does this look like a title you'd play? Are you an RPG player? I mean, is this something that you're kind of looking for? I hope it is. I really hope it is. I hope you check it out. It isn't that expensive, and just everything about this title screams it's worth at least one playthrough. I will see you on the next one. Please stay safe, everybody. Nick out.